Today, we're going to talk about moving your website from one platform to another. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Up in My Business. This episode, we're going to dive right in because I have a lot of moving thoughts in my head and I need to just get to recording. This episode, we're going to talk about moving your website from one platform to another. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying you really do not ever need to do this if you build it on a good platform to start or a really great platform to start. And if you are on a platform or have a website designer or you designed it, whatever, that is able to be managed by you ultimately, if that's your goal. So there are other reasons why I would suggest that you move website platforms. And I will be honest with you, at this point, the only website platforms I am recommending are Squarespace and WordPress. I think that they have the best functionality. They have the best return on investment for what you're paying for them. They have the best abilities for integrating SEO into your website, as well as the ability to extend beyond just basic SEO. And they are manageable. Now, Squarespace, I recommend Squarespace for health and wellness practitioners, period, because you're able to manage that yourself. WordPress is a little bit trickier. So if you are good at tech and you enjoy tech, you might be able to manage WordPress. I have just found that most people I speak with are more on the side of, you know what, I'm either fine at tech, but I don't want to spend a ton of time doing stuff. I just want to be able to make it happen. I want to go in, make it happen. I don't want to have to problem solve things. I don't want to have to do a million clicks. I don't want to have to do all this stuff. So I will tell you that Squarespace is much more friendly for the people who are thinking, I want to manage my own website. I want to have full control over this and I want to be able to actually do something. And I don't want it to feel like I am doing an impossible task while doing it. WordPress folks, most people who are on WordPress either have someone else manage their website, they have a website designer typically on hand, or someone who built their site and then they just never touch it, I guess. And then the other one is they just have people update their site accordingly when they need it. That is typically what I have seen. If you're on WordPress and you manage WordPress yourself, that person likely has been doing it forever and ever and is more tech savvy than most folks. Or they just enjoy it, honestly, because I know that some people can just enjoy it. Now, let's talk about moving your website. If you are on a platform, so let me actually step back. When Squarespace raised their prices to be about $30 a month for a website, so if you pay yearly, you are paying $30 a month for your website. That is literally the digital home of your business. When I compare it to a real home and a home that is your website home base for your business, what you're getting for $30 a month is actually ridiculous. So I'm not saying that they should raise their price, but what I am saying is that realistically, there is no reason to complain about that, especially since it comes with a security certificate, which oftentimes is an added investment of $100 plus on other platforms like WordPress. So you're getting a lot for what you're paying. But this stems from that price raise, because so many people were and I am seeing it in the health space, but I'm also seeing it in random spaces on Threads. But folks were like, I'm going to move my website off of Squarespace to somewhere else, Show It, or I don't even know what other options there were. They're just saying they're moving their website. Yes, I support moving your website when you're on a platform that is limiting to you. So example, Wix. I find that Wix, I think the designs on Wix look archaic. I don't think that they are modern. I don't think they look good. I think that it's very easy for me to tell who was on a Wix website. And I also know that they don't support, as of right now, this date, geotagged images, which is a big part of SEO and very important. And I just find the ability to customize certain things on that platform and how to edit your site and how long and cumbersome it is not helpful. So moving your website from something like Wix to Squarespace, when you build a website on Wix, it's kind of basic. You did it yourself. You're looking to level up. You want to hire someone to do your site. Moving it to Squarespace in that instance is great. I think that's a really great move. Moving a WordPress website to Squarespace, or moving any website to anywhere else, because you're unable to manage it, is another reason. So if the platform itself is holding you back, or the platform in your ability to manage that platform is holding you back from doing things and you need to move your website, that's another reason to move your site. I am not the person. I have moved plenty of folks from Wix to Squarespace. I have helped people move from WordPress to Squarespace, GoDaddy to Squarespace, the built-in clinic sites with JNAP to Squarespace. So I am not telling you not to move your website. In certain situations, it makes sense. And like, if you need help figuring out if that's your situation, great. When we get down the road, and this is for people who are invested in their website, they likely took my SEO school or some other program. They might be selling something online, like they have sales pages, what have you. I have found that when you're past the beginner website, which is the one that you just kind of threw up when you open up your clinic, and now you're on to step 2. Once you go to step 2, your website should become so big that moving it would cost you way too much time and money to move it. So you just end up staying where you are because it's actually incredibly cheaper. The reason I say this is because I have a client who, I have folks in SEO school ask this as well. And if you're in SEO school and you're hearing this, like we just talked about this, I get asked what pages should be on your website and should I do this? Should I do that? And my answer at this point is yes. Like, we need to have all of these things on your site. Eventually, we start with the priorities and then we move down the line. So someone was talking about, diagnoses and different types of treatments they have and like services. And when I tell you that if you're investing time and energy and money into your website plus SEO work, whether you're doing it yourself or someone is doing it for you, your website is going to become so big and so in depth and so, I'm going to use the word maximized. I don't love using maximized because now we're like maximizing all this stuff like protein and whatever in our life, but your website will become so maximized that moving it would cost you so much money. As an example, if I were to move my website right now with the amount of pages, the amount of podcast episodes I have, the amount of blogs I have, it would cost me to hire a designer to do it. Now I'm just throwing a number out there, but given how much I have seen other sites go for, and their sites are even like much smaller than mine, to move my website would probably be around $30,000 to $40,000. Like, to design it from scratch on a different platform. Not that I'm trying to do that by any means, but what I'm saying is that once you get onto a platform and you're past the beginner site, you are looking for a forever home. And I think people don't realize that. And I think that's what limits a lot of folks and has you redoing your website 16 times. People will ask me, well, should I move it before or after I start building out my pages in SEO school? Or should I move it before or after I start diving deep into blog posts? I'm going to tell you right now, you get to decide when you want to move it. You get to decide if you want to move it, if it makes sense for you. That is all going to be your decision. But when you move it, I will always vote to move the website sooner rather than later so that you are in your forever home. It is really tough, and I think that it's one of the barriers I've seen limit people over and over and over again when they feel like they're not on the platform that's suited to them. Whether they're on a platform that they can't manage, their website is managed by someone else, they're on a platform that has limited capabilities. When you are on those platforms, I find it very difficult for people to get past that hurdle. and building their site out and adding blogs to their site, because deep down in their body, whatever woo-woo they are or not, they know that they're not in their forever home, and it's a blockade that is stopping them from doing the things that they need to do in order to expand their website and to help them online, and then also build out the content associated with that. It is a block. And I know that there are folks who I'm thinking of, I have a couple names at the top of my head that once they moved their website, they crushed it. They were like, I'm good. I'm set. I am ready to go. Rupert just came underneath my chair and touched my leg. And I swear, I know we have a cat, but I almost just freaked out and screamed because I did not expect him to do that. I'm recording with my door open, which I never do. So if you are thinking, do I need to move my website? Well, I will tell you, there are reasons to move your site and there are reasons to not move your website. Sometimes you just need a refresh. I had a client who had a Squarespace website. It was an introductory site. She built it when she started. She was like, I'm ready to go to step 2. Well, step 2 means that you outsource the design, you outsource that stuff. We build you a new site, we refresh it. Now you have a completely ready to go website. Now you can take that and build everything out for the future. When you have your forever home, you can start doing things to it. You can start painting the walls. You can start adding fixtures. You can start adding, specific landscaping. You can start doing all of that stuff because it's your forever home and you're going to be in it for a long time. That means a lot. And I do think that eliminates a lot of back and forth in people's minds when they're like, well, should I build this out? Should I wait? Should I create the content? Should I not? And it's huge. It's a very important step. And that's where I get so annoyed when I'm like seeing people saying, well, I'm just going to move my website because I'm paying $30 a month for it for like every feature they have, which is crazy to me. I'm paying $30 a month for it. I'm going to move my whole site. What that tells me is that you don't have a big enough website anyway. So whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, if you can afford time-wise or money-wise to move your website from somewhere, what that tells me is that you likely have not invested a ton of time into the content. And I should take out the financial side, because like if I could afford it and I wanted to move, I guess I would do it even though I had all this stuff. So it's not really the determining factor of if you have or have not moved your or done any content on your site and had your website expanded out to be more than just 5 basic pages. But what it does mean is that your investment cost of moving that website from one website platform to another is going to be really big. So if you have a super low cost to move your website somewhere and a super low time investment to rebuild your whole site on a different platform, that tells me that you're just pushing food around on your plate. Stop doing that. You're wasting your time. You don't need to do that. If your platform is working for you, it's fine. It is what it is. Then go ahead and just keep building your site out. Switching because of a platform price, I get it. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. And also, that is pushing food around your plate if your website is a main source of business information and how you teach people about your business and how you are developing more information online available for your business, which is important. Like, increasing your digital footprint is so important. So I would be expecting that you're working on your SEO, you're doing all this stuff. And if you can financially have a low cost and the time to move your website at the drop of a dime because of a price increase that was about, I get it, it was 20% in total, but it was an extra, I think, $3 to $5 a month. When that happens, if you can just be like, I'm throwing it all in the trash and I'm moving platforms to pay $3 less, that to me does not, like, what are we doing? That makes absolutely zero sense. For me to build my website out on a different platform would take me weeks, if not months, like probably months, honestly, months, because I'm thinking about how many pages I have, how many podcast episodes I have. I have 186, now 87 podcast episodes. To move just those blog posts, those inserts over would be atrocious. It would be not fun at all. So all I'm saying here is, yes, there is a reason, and there are plenty of reasons to move your website over if it logistically makes sense for your future growth and the opportunity that that website is going to provide to you, especially if it means you're able to get past the hurdle of, I'm not in my forever home. I don't want to do things to it because I know that I'm going to have to do it again down the road. There are plenty of reasons why we need to go down that route. But if you are on a platform that works and you can manage it, and you simply just want to throw everything in the trash and move your website platform at the drop of a hat because of a price change, to me, if your website move over, switch, transfer doesn't take you weeks or months and it's super low cost, that tells me that you don't have enough stuff on your website anyway, which sure could be a reason to move, which I said earlier. Sure, it could be a reason to move your website and have all this stuff done. But if you're simply just moving it because of that price change, I do want you to reflect on the fact that regardless of where you move, you are still going to have to build out your website. And at the end of the day, everyone gets to do what they enjoy, that what feels good to them, what makes the most sense. Everyone has that authority. And it's important to have that authority to make that decision. Everyone gets to decide. But to be able to just say, I'm just going to move my website over, to me, that screams, well, like, what are you doing with it anyway? What are you adding to it? Are you building content out? Are you having multiple pages? Because at the end of the day, when we're talking healthcare practice, your website should be pretty damn big. It should end up being pretty big. And if you don't recognize that yet, then I would highly suggest, being in something like my SEO school, I am very biased, but I think that it is one of the best. It is the best and most comprehensive SEO course out there for health and wellness practitioners, at least that I have come across up till now. Like, it is there. You can learn exactly what you should have on your website and how big that website should be at the end of the day. And if you're not writing content, well, that also tells me that you're not actively updating Google. You're just kind of leaving your website as it exists, and no one should be doing that either because that's not helping you. So anyway, all of this being said, you get to make the choice of what happens if you want to switch your website, if you don't. But I will challenge you that if you're on a platform that raises their price by however many dollars, one, what does it give to you? Like, what does it make sense? Why does it make sense to keep this website subscription? And like, what does that cost actually give to you monthly? And number two, if you're on the camp of like, I want to switch because of this, what is it going to cost you to move it? And if it's genuinely going to cost you no time, no money, then I would say like, okay, cool. Like, you do what you want to do, but just recognize that once you move it, you have a lot of work to do. Like, you need to improve your website. You need to have some more content on there. It shouldn't be easy to move your website. It should not. Like, there is no way, shape, or form, unless you're an intro business owner who just threw up a website because you got started, which is great. I'm so proud of you. Yes, start there. But that level 2 website, your forever home, that should never feel like a light lift to move. And it shouldn't just be thrown around that you're just going to move your website. All right. And if you need help, always, like if you want to know, should I move my website? Should I not? Where I'm at? I'm here. I have this many pages. I'm doing this thing. I'm adding this stuff here. Like, everything is movable. And at some point, there is a client who had over 200 blog posts that I moved and I helped move. So it is not impossible. It is not a bad thing to move your website if the platform is going to be limiting you. Like, genuinely, if the platform limits you, sometimes that is the choice you have to make. But that's not just an on-the-whim decision. It's a very planned process where different steps are coordinated in order to make sure the links still work. Like, it is not something you just decide to do on a whim. And typically, it's not something you decide to do over a $3 per month price change. So I invite you to consider, how can you build out your website? What do you need to build out your website? Do you actually need to switch platforms, or do you need to switch platforms because you're not doing work on your site? Well, super big consideration there. But what I would recommend, as I said in the beginning, is Squarespace is my top recommendation because of the features it has and what it allows you to do. If you're a super techie person, WordPress is also amazing. All right, friends, that's really all I have for you. I had a lot of thoughts swirling around this, and I hope that this helped you, just have some ideas of whether or not you need to consider adding more to your website. And like, if you're thinking, what do I add? Cool. Like I can definitely help you decide that and help you move forward on that. But moving your website, editing your website, and starting over should feel like a very, very big lift. Once you're in your forever home, it should feel like a very big lift to move that thing. And if it doesn't, then I do think there is other work that needs to be done. And if you decide like, well, I have to move before I do that work because I can't do that work without moving, cool. But being able to do it on a whim, well, it kind of speaks to me like, well, we need to do some work on that site anyway. Or are you actually doing work on your website and using the website to its capabilities anyway? If you have such a quick response to move your site and the ability to move your site with not much time and money invested. All right, friends. Thank you so much for listening. As always, let me know if you have questions, and I will catch you next time.